part of me. I was basically raised in Aberdeen, lived here most of my life. Moved to Texas briefly from about 2006 until, or I'm sorry, 96, moved back to Aberdeen in about 2006, so I've been back here about 10 years. I'm married almost 30 years now, have 2 children, 12 and 14, perfect age. You know, lots of people at school. I'll probably get word out that way. The reason I decided to run specifically, Mark Remley approached me and said, hey, we're looking for a candidate to run for the House of Representatives. He convinced me that I have enough skills to skew people's views towards what I think. I think I'm fairly democratic, not in the party sense, but just able to relate to people, pass my ideas on, understand where they're coming from, and hopefully help them come to logical conclusions about what we need to do in here. And my biggest thing is I want fairness in here. I mean, I moved back to Aberdeen and I looked at the level of corruption in our legislature, and it's ridiculous. For our state, which to me seems like a quaint, safe, beautiful state to live in, I can't believe we're in the top 10 in almost every poll out there for the most corruption in states. And I started looking at it, and what it really boils down to, if you look at those top 10 lists, most of them are either red states, and almost all of them have at least 80% in the legislature, kind of like we do. I mean, we've got no representation for Democrats in the legislature. And here in District 3, we've got about 40% registered Democrats, but we have no legislation representation. So that's really what prompted me to get into this to begin with. And then I started looking at the ballot issues that are coming up, and they all seem like no-brainers. I mean, you look at things like the minimum wage, the youth minimum wage. I mean, that really makes no sense. That helps a small number of people out there, but people don't take into consideration how it would really affect the individuals that live in the state. Sure, it's going to help the supermarket owner save $1 an hour on labor, but what's it going to do to the people that are age 19, 20, 21 that really need a job, that have moved out of their house? You know, those are the people that need a job, and if the supermarket's going to hire the 17, 18-year-olds because they can save $1, what's that do to the people that are 19, 20, 21 that really need that job? Not to mention, I mean, I think if you do a job, you should get paid for it regardless of your age. If you're not able to do the job and don't deserve the extra $1 an hour, well then don't hire that person to begin with. So to me, that's kind of a no-brainer. The payday loan lending rate cap of 36%, I don't know how that could hurt anybody to put a cap on that. I mean, when people are in our state are paying 500% annual percentage rate on a loan, it's ridiculous. I mean, not only does it hurt them, but it hurts us as a state, because sooner or later these people are going to be broke and need housing, need all the things that Republicans complain about having to supply people that are in a tough situation with. And so I don't know how that benefits anybody to let those payday lenders basically, you know, perform predatory loans against our citizens of this state. That money's not going to our state. That money's probably going out of state, aside from the few people that they employ. So I guess, to me, that's another no-brainer. I mean, how can you look at that and vote against it? And I think that's going to be my approach when we get to debate these, my opponents, is I'm going to say, hey, where do you stand on this issue? Where do you stand on redistricting? And let them try and explain where they're coming from, where this, I guess where their ideals really lie. Is it with the political action committees in the Republican Party that are giving them money, or is it with the people of South Dakota? So to me, it's kind of, it just makes sense. I mean, it's all about being fair. If you look at the, you know, the redistricting amendment, I just want it to be fair. I mean, if the Republicans are going to take the seats, that's fine, but let's have it be fair. Anybody that looks at a district map can tell instantly. I mean, when you look at that district map in District 3 and you see that Forest Acres is in District 3, but everything north of that is in District 2, I mean, where's the fairness in that? So how can you look at that and not want an independent committee doing the districting? Especially when right now it's the legislature doing it, it's 80% Republican. Of course they're going to look at demographics, and skew things their way. I mean,
Along with all the other corruption that they've done, why wouldn't they corrupt the...
it's just common sense that, of course, they've got the majority and they want to keep the majority. But it's all about being fair, and that's where I'm coming from, is I just want things to be fair. I don't care if Republicans do end up taking the seats. I just want it to be a fair election and have everybody have a voice. I mean, we've got so many Democrats. I think Brown County actually voted for Obama in 2008, and we can't get a Democratic legislature in District 3. It makes no sense to me. I guess issues that are important to me would be education. I don't think education should be for profit, first of all. I think with technology we've got, there's no reason education costs need to keep rising. If anything, they should be coming down. I mean, if a teacher can get up online and teach 400 students instead of the 50 that are in the classroom, how come education is more expensive? It makes no sense. Healthcare is a big issue for me. I think we need to accept the Affordable Care Act, do everything we can to get our uninsured citizens affordable health insurance. I mean, people that don't have health insurance are at such a great risk of going into debt. And if you start looking at the percentage of somebody's salary that they have to pay if they're uninsured, if they have an appendectomy and go in for an emergency appendectomy and they've got a $5,000 medical bill, which is probably small for an appendectomy, that might be 10 to 15% of their annual income. If somebody out there that's making $200,000 a year had to pay 10% of their annual income for an appendectomy, they'd be up in arms.
They also charge you more when you don't have health insurance.
Well, regardless, it's nothing, getting sick is nothing that should bankrupt somebody. I mean, getting good health care is something that should be a right to everybody. And the fact that our state's not accepting the federal money to lower those insurance costs, to me, is ridiculous. I guess other important issues to me, aside from education, aside from health care, is energy. Energy in this state, we need to switch and get off fossil fuels. We need to get to renewable energy. There's no reason we need to keep pursuing these fossil fuels. I realize we've already got pipelines going south, taking the oil to Texas, but why do we need another pipeline to do that? Why don't we focus that energy on more renewable energy? I mean, we make windmills right here in Aberdeen that we need to promote that. We need to get our state progressive enough that we're not following the rest of these Republican idealists.
I know a doctor that works in Africa, she's a neurosurgeon, and how they're building a hospital down there. They're using solar panels.
I thought of putting solar panels on my house. I could install them myself, I could make it cost effective, but there's no way for me to sell that excess energy back to the utility companies.
Yes.
I mean, that's something that we could focus on as a state and start. I don't want to be a red state that follows Kansas and Louisiana into debt. I want to be a progressive purple state. I don't care if it's half red, half blue. I just think we need more democratic ideas in our state that would help get rid of the corruption, that would help send the state in a positive direction. And that's my goal. That's why I'm running for office. I don't know that I don't know how much of a chance I have to win this thing, but the more people I talk to and the more people I get in front of, the better chance I think I have. And I think key is going to be getting on a debate stage with my opponents and laying it out and saying, hey, what's your idea to fix this problem? Why are you voting against redistricting? Why are you voting against putting a cap on payday lenders? And hear it out of their mouths, because what's their argument, aside from they don't want to lose political action committee funding? I mean, there is no argument. So to put them on the spot and make them defend their positions, I think is the best way that I can get more support on my side, from Republicans and Democrats.